Everybody sees that we have a shortened hamstring in the front squat. Everybody see that? Everybody see the short hamstring in the front squat? Why is that? Because the hip angle is open and the knee angle is closed in the front squat. And the opposite is true in the squat. Okay, so there's several lines of reasoning here about why the squat works the hamstring more. The first of which, and probably the most powerful argument, is this. In which of these two positions is there a longer moment arm on the segments of the body that the hamstrings control? Squat, right? That's real simple, isn't it? It's almost as if we are going to choose a position in which to squat that involves the most muscle mass. It's like it's intentional almost. And you know that's true because which way can you squat more weight? This way or this way? Would anybody disagree with that? Does anybody front squat more than they back squat? Nobody front squats more than they back squat. Even if you don't train the back squat, you still squat more than you can front squat without even doing any squats. You can squat more than you can front squat because of the mechanics that allows you to more effectively operate that longer moment arm. All right? Well, there's another way to think about this. What about soreness patterns? What can we learn from soreness patterns? The thinking now is that the eccentric phase of muscle activity produces the soreness. As you jerk the actin and myosin filaments apart in the eccentric phase of the contraction, you actually damage the cross bridges, right? And the way the cross bridges get repaired is through the inflammatory process. So you perceive this inflammatory process as soreness in your muscles. You'll notice it takes a little while to come on, right? Nobody gets sore immediately after you train unless something's terribly wrong, right? In fact, if you immediately feel pain during a contraction, what do you know just happened? It's not soreness, it's a tear, right? And it's a tear across the fibers, not just between the cross bridges. But the soreness process is delayed because it's an inflammatory process that takes time to ramp up. Now, when you squat, how many of you people in here actually get sore hamstrings when you squat? Usually there's 2 or 3 people that will tell me they get sore hamstrings when they squat. Nobody in here gets sore hamstrings? Sometimes. You do? Sometimes? Tightness, but not really soreness, right? That's what typically everybody experiences. Okay? And I predict that you're kind of doing a good morning when you squat. Because when you squat correctly, think about this now. If you don't get sore when you squat, what does that tell you about hamstrings and eccentric loading on the hamstrings? There isn't much. It's minimal or not any at all. But no one would argue that the hamstrings are relaxed during a squat, would they?
Just shortened distally, that's it. And
So,
proximally.
Well, if they shorten distally and lengthen proximally, what's the net?
Not
isometric.
isometric, right? Yeah.
The net's isometric, and isometric doesn't really make you sore because there's no eccentric component to it. Now, does this match everybody's experience? You take the hamstring out of the kinetic chain by placing it in a position that's this short. It can't contract anymore here. It's already contracted. What's the shortest position in which you can place your hamstring muscle belly? Well, it would be knee flexion and hip extension. And what does that look like? That's a leg curl. They had to, in fact, you can't do that while you're standing on the floor, can you? That's why they had to make the machine. That's why they made the machine. But can you do that while you're standing on the floor? No. What's the shortest position that you can place your hamstring in while you're standing on the floor? It's that thing right there. And if you place the hamstring in a position where it's already contracted, how much contractile force can it generate during that movement? So what is left to do the eccentric work of controlling your descent into the bottom of the front squat? Glutes. And adductors. They got sore too. You didn't notice that so much because your adductors get sore frequently. But you did notice the glutes because the damn things never got sore before, and now suddenly my ass is sore. Right? And that's because of this position. Okay? So we're not going to choose a way to squat that omits the hamstrings because we want the most muscle mass working over the greatest effective range of motion. If we take a muscle group out of the exercise, then we undid that. And this is why we're placing the bar low on the back, so we can get this back angle. Because this back angle generates this hamstring configuration. And this hamstring configuration fits our criteria.